I quite like it, Simon, when I hear in certain parlance, in certain newspapers, especially quality news, or the so-called quality newspapers, when players give interviews as to why they do certain things. And Neal Maupay, of course, Neal Maupay, who's no stranger to a bit of controversy along the way, has been talking about why he's done certain things in certain games. He's spoken to the Times in the last couple of days, and he's defended his on-field antics in an interview with that newspaper. He's been involved in a couple of high-profile spats this season. Last month, he had words with James Maddison after, you might remember, he mimicked the Spurs player's goal celebration with the throwing of the darts. And then the following week, he had heated words with Manchester City's Kyle Walker after claims that Maupay had made a remark on the field of play about Walker's family and his private life, which Neal Maupay, of course, totally denies. But then the same Neal Maupay has gone on the front foot to a large degree in this Times interview, which I quite like. He says people say footballers are boring, and then all of a sudden a player does this and everyone goes, oh, why, Neil, why? He's the most disliked player, blah, blah, blah. Well, for me, football is a game. It's entertainment. It's just having fun. And on the pitch, I'm trying to do everything to win. If I can say something that puts you off or makes you overthink and make a mistake, I'll do it. People don't realise how much tension and emotion is involved at the highest level. I think it works quite well. And if I can get a reaction, great. Now, you've got to say, take a bow, Neal Maupay. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? If it gives you an edge over an opponent you're trying to get an edge over, why not?
But do
knock
people,
yourself out.
Do people say footballers are boring then? I mean, I make the observation they walk around like impending doom and don't realise that they've got the world at their feet rather than on their shoulders. And the opportunities that footballers have got in this day and age is so wonderful for them that they should enjoy it a little bit more and look like they're enjoying it a little bit more. And sometimes some of the interviews after the games, specifically some of the bigger clubs, are a little bit formulaic and robotic and trotted out.
Well, this is refreshing, isn't it?
But when he talks about characters, when I look back at characters, Paolo Di Canio, Rodney Marsh, Stanley Bowles, Tony Curry, players of that ilk that could entertain on the pitch. He's just a wind-up merchant. I don't think he's a character. I think he's a wind-up merchant.
Well, is there much wrong in that?
Well, it depends if you think that's admirable. Do you like being wound up by smart asses?
Well, if you're going to walk the walk, you've got to talk the talk, and he's doing that. Do I like being wound up?
Look,
you got me there.
Yeah, do I think he's a character? Do I think it's entertaining? Do I think saying things to wind people up it's part of the sport? Should the players be able to rise above it? Yeah, some of them got a sense of entitlement. So when he gives it back to the Spurs players that celebrate, because I hate all those goal celebrations anyway.
Yeah,
and so he's giving it back and mimicking them. Then I think that's they take themselves a bit too seriously at times.
I mean, we're not talking about Materazzi and Zinedine Zidane.
No, but I don't think there's anything to admire about
the way. Fun.
Is it? Kyle Walker's got himself into enough problems as it is. If now Maupay feels the necessity to sledge players on the pitch, I don't think it's an admirable trait. I think they should rise above it and ignore him because he couldn't hit a cow's backside with a banjo at Everton.
It's accepted in a sport you love, cricket.
Well, it's not really anymore, is it?
Yes, it's not. They do it all the time.
But do I think it's admirable to do that either? No, I think it's part and parcel of the game. I get on with it. It's a different sport, different culture, different set of sentiments in cricket than it is in football.
Right.
On the football field, he's an antagonistic sort of individual. He's one of those that irritates you. He's like an itch that you can't scratch. You just want to kick him off the pitch into the touchline, I should imagine. And that's why they got the attitude towards him. So I don't think it's admirable, but I also think it's upon others to ignore him. And he tries to characterise it as an endearing trait. He's a wind-up merchant. Wind-up merchants don't tend to be particularly endearing people. And so if he's on your side, you'll have him, won't you?
I would have thought you were into endearing people.
No, I'm not really into endearing people, but I'm also not going to allow him to recharacterise it as if he's a character. As if his behaviour is a character, if he's somebody flamboyant that we should all enjoy watching. He's a little scrote that winds up players and irritates them. I don't think that's particularly something that I would go, I like him.
We all get wound up now and again. You wind me up.
Sure.
No end.
Sure.
And I go with it, and I'm happy. But Eddie Hearn wound you up.
But I don't try and dress it up as something that it's not. I then don't go around and turn around and say, well, it's not that, it's this. And I'm a character. I do it because I want to provide entertainment. No, I don't do it for that purpose at all. I do it for the purpose of correcting your rather ill-informed thinking. Right? And in Neal Maupay's example,
having fun, he says.
But he's not really, is he? He's getting people at it. And again, I go back to the point. It is it is incumbent upon them to rise above it, because he's only effective because he hasn't got enough talent to do it by his talent.
Everybody's picked up in your comment. Do you like being wound up, Jim, by smart arses, pot kettle?
Yeah, but they didn't realise I'm being ironic.
You are being ironic. I mean, at the end of the day, do you know what? I quite like what he said in the Times, though, Simon. I'm just having fun on the pitch. I'm trying to do everything I can to win.
Yeah.
If I can say something that puts you off or makes you overthink and make a mistake, I'll do it.
And that's fine. It's a tragedy for Everton fans that he never saw them do anything vaguely like resembling something meaningful for them.
With his feet.
With his feet.
Yeah, fair point. Neal Maupay, you continue to do it. As long as you're happy, we'll watch on with interest. We're coming up to 11:30.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.